So let's talk about typical changes during pregnancy. Just little note that there's very little data on second trimester, so we're kind of extrapolating here in the middle part of the graph. First of all, night awakenings, that does tend to increase over the course of pregnancy. Now that's probably not surprising. Then also, deep sleep and REM sleep both decrease over the course of pregnancy. So both in terms of percentage of the night and the absolute amount. And total sleep duration first goes up during first trimester and then plummets after that. So far, not a super pretty picture, right? What else is typical? Unfortunately, up to 90% of pregnant people complain of significantly disturbed sleep. And about half report excessive daytime sleepiness. That's a lot, right? And for comparison to their non-pregnant peers, the non-gravid healthy range of sleep duration is about 7 to 9 hours, at least for this age group. Whereas for pregnant people, their average nighttime sleep duration is only about 5.5 hours. And in terms of sleep efficiency, which means, of all the time that you are in bed and have the opportunity to sleep, what percentage of that time are you actually sleeping? So in non-gravid peers, 85 to 95%. And in pregnant people, only 77%. So not a pretty picture so far. Why? Why does pregnancy cause such terrible experiences with sleep? Well, physical changes first and foremost. Physical discomfort, your joints are aching, you can't turn in certain ways in bed, frequent urination. I don't mind confessing that the first time I spoke at NEI, I was 7 months pregnant, and the entire time I was on stage, I had to pee like a racehorse. So if you have to pee every 17 minutes, it's gonna interrupt your sleep, right? And the hormonal changes too. Progesterone, rapidly on the rise, especially, throughout the whole time, especially for first trimester. That leads to higher body temperature and more fatigue. And we do need our bodies to cool down to sleep well, so that, is not great. Estrogen also leads to less REM and more nasal congestion, and we'll see in a moment why that's really important. Of course, there are psychological changes for anyone who's been a mother here. You worry. You start to worry even before your baby is born, right? And when it comes to sleep, you tend to have more nightmares. Not just because you're more stressed out, but something about pregnancy hormones causes that to be more prevalent too. And behavioral changes, 78% of pregnant people nap, whereas in our American culture, we don't usually nap, so that's a big change for us. And often, decreased physical activity can change our sleep behaviors too. So I want to make a big spotlight, especially on caffeine, especially because we were all pretty split on this in the pre-test questions, right? So usually the half-life of caffeine is 2.5 to 4.5 hours. This increases to up to more than 15 hours in pregnant people. Please remember this one, because this is one that you can take home right now and start to make a big difference for your patients, friends, family. Up to 15 plus hours, that means even if you drink your last coffee, before noon, you can still have a significant amount of caffeine in your system well beyond midnight, right? So if before pregnancy, you drank, 1 to 2 coffees, maybe you can't do that anymore, especially not in the afternoon. Right? So that's something to keep in mind.